Welcome to Lightfair 2023. I'm here today with Doug Niebelsberger of Light Efficient Design, LED-LLC.com. Greg Eric.
That's right, man. They've got all the tricks you need in your lighting quiver.
All the arrows you need, not
you
tricks, Greg.
Well,
There's arrows in a quiver,
okay.
not tricks. Doug, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's good to see you guys.
Best hair in the lighting industry. Look at this guy.
My
Looking
guy.
so good.
My
Look
guy.
at that
Doug,
slick
way
there.
to go.
Too complimentary. But I'll take it.
How are things at this show? I mean, we've had mixed reviews about people, from Lightfair, saying some people saying it's great, some people saying it ain't what it used to be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, things have changed ever since COVID. We kind of measure it just, by how busy our booth is, right? We're, certainly looking around the show and stuff, and it seems like it's, this year, last year, smaller than previous years. But, last year in Vegas, I mean, we were slammed the first 2 days. Always kind of assumed that third day is going to be pretty quiet. So far at this show, first day was excellent. We were talking at dinner last night. We're like, hey, what a great day. And a couple of us were like, hey, did everybody come by today, though? Is anybody going to be coming by tomorrow? And, we started out pretty busy today, but it's I guess it's, kind of lunchtime. So we'll see if the afternoon picks up. But it does feel a little bit slower today. So
well, time will tell on that. But let's get into light efficient design.
Sure.
We're going to dive in more. What year did it start?
2008. We're actually celebrating 15 years next month, which is a pretty exciting milestone for us.
And how did it start? Were you involved from the start, or you got in?
I was not involved.
I think he was still in kindergarten then. Something like that.
Seventh grade. Seventh grade.
Okay. So you had a little while.
Yeah. No. Our CEO and owner Tim Taylor started the company in 2008. He had a long run with Intermatic. Was actually with them for about almost 30 years.
Wow.
So, very familiar with the industry, and bought a small LED company. Originally, we were actually light emitting design. Turns out there is another light emitting design, so we had to do a little switcheroo. But, really wanted to stick with that LED.
Sure.
And kind of, took advantage of that. So light efficient design it was. And when we first started, Tim was carrying around a suitcase that had PAR lamps and A19s and MR16s and all that stuff, and that was back when CFLs were the big craze.
And I might have actually met with them. I'm thinking back because I remember like the technology LED, and then there's a company called LED, and I'm like, oh, these are the guys that make the LED.
Right. I mean, it was pretty genius marketing by him to try to take advantage of that, and I believe one of the first pioneers to really just come in as a LED only company. Obviously, there's a lot of big guys, but they've been in the industry for many decades. But with the old technology and everything.
2008 is early.
Yeah.
Yes, for lighting.
2000,
LED for sure.
2008's early, and then I believe it was 2010 when we kind of came out with the first now called corn cob or HID retrofit. We like that term better. HID retrofit.
You guys have done a lot of innovations. Like when I think about it, you guys might have been the first to come out with the corn cob.
I believe we were. I believe we were.
From my standpoint, it was.
Yeah. And then I don't know about maybe the PAR 38 too.
Possibly, we were early on that. They're interesting looking devices back then.
Yeah.
But early on, and then obviously everybody kind of
weighed 50 pounds.
It was heavy. It was heavy. So, but yeah, it was interesting back then. Just really pioneering things, and like I said, Tim was the main sales guy, and it was just a handful of people in the early years, and even when I joined in 2015, I was employee number 17.
Wow.
So.
It's grown a little since.
A little bit. So, yeah.
And what are you guys all about? Like, what's your strategy? What do you guys do at Light Efficient Design?
I mean, I'd say, you hit it on the head, and I love when you guys mention it when we're the sponsor of a podcast, but innovation. I mean, that's where it's at.
Sure.
And even a handful of years ago now, we were talking about some company core values, and kind of ended up that three of them just rhymed, but we had innovation, collaboration, and education. So the collaboration, focused internally, externally, but we're always, doing a good job listening to what's needed, and that's where a lot of the innovation comes from, is just hearing the problems out there and us coming up with solutions that we've continued to do over the years. And then the education part, we took that pretty seriously. Even before COVID, we were doing webinar type learnings before it was cool and mainstream, thanks to COVID and everything. But we've put on our pro workshop series ever since I think 2019 when we first started, and it's been a great way to not only educate our internal people but our reps, and then we get a lot of customers that come on those as well. So.
I love the listening piece. Like I like that.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
people talk about research and development or whatever, and they think of some guy in a back room experimenting. But you know, we were talking to Josh, and you don't mind if I say Keystone
That's
on the
okay.
show?
I like Josh.
Yeah.
Josh, good guy.
We're talking to him, and it was the same kind of theme. Is that you know we innovate by listening to our customers actually and trying to solve their problems, and by providing good customer service, we find out what it is that we need to sell and what we're about actually.
Absolutely, absolutely. And even the company that we merged with back in 2018, Remfoss, that David Gershaw, our Chief Innovation Officer, that's where he spent a lot of time was with the contractors and the ESCOs out there here in pain points, and you know, and then we just kind of addressed a lot of easy to install solutions that is now known with the Remfoss brand. But yeah, there's been a number of stories that I can think of where I've been at the table hearing customer things or from our reps of, hey, you guys have thought about this or this, and then we've acted upon it. We were talking before we started about our hazardous location thing, and that was at a NEMRA. Our reps like, can you guys go into a Class 1 Division 2 and looked into it and it's like, well, technically not, but then we figured out a way to do it, and we actually wrote the first kind of spec with UL to do that process. And but yeah, just
that's a great product, by the way.
Thank you.
And then that's when you think of innovation, and there's a lot of people that say, oh, all LEDs already been innovated and done, but you guys keep bringing stuff like that, like that unique application, but it's a definite application that I used to run away from.
Sure.
I'm like, oh, there's the explosion proof.
We'll leave those for later.
Yeah.
Now we can actually legitimately do something about it.
Absolutely. And I always kind of go earmuffs when people are like, oh, we're just putting in regular corn cobs in there. I'm like, that is such a liability that you're putting yourself into. They're called hazardous fixtures for a reason. So
yes.
Explosion proof too, right? I mean, those are scary terms. We want to do it by the book. So.
And how do you guys feel on the power selectability, color selectability? Are you going all that direction, or are you sticking to having dedicated as well?
Yeah, we're definitely going that way. We see more of the value if it's a true stock and flow, item, something that's going to be in the counter area, just sold over the counter, helps the distributors. That was part of the listening that we did years ago when we heard about distributors' pain points. The other one just being size of retrofits, which we've also addressed. But the color selectability, it seems like that's where everybody's going. Nobody wants to pay more for it. They want it, but
same price.
It seems like that's where it's going. Throughout our lineup, we have it pretty much across the board.
There's so much savings for the manufacturer, actually, that we feel like it should be a lower price.
A lower price. Oh, that's a new one. All right.
I'll put more stuff into it.
Okay.
I'll file
that one
right
away.
now in Toronto, a skid space is like $26 a month.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And so in a slow market, maybe skid space is $4 a month for storage.
Okay.
Right. How many of those panels can you fit on a skid?
Yeah, with panels, that's a real serious saver.
20 panels. I think it should be cheaper.
Okay.
I think if you actually crunch the numbers right there, Dougie, you're going to be sending me a 15% price reduction.
I will get right on it. I'll get right on it. So, but no, it's great. It's it helps us certainly from inventory management. It's easier, especially like 3000K, right? We've always we do forecasting meetings, and before the color selectability, to have this like high volatility with a 3000K because we get an order, right, and then it spikes, and then we don't get another order for a couple months or so. But it kind of helps, pool that 3000K less common color temperature in with the higher movers. So, yeah.
So for the people that aren't at Lightfair, first of all, get to Lightfair. Yeah. But if you're not and you're listening to this, Doug, what do you got? Anything that you're showing that's new, or is it extensions of stuff you have?
Absolutely. So let's see. So on the Remfoss side, we've had a product out for a while called the LBI Light Bar Internal Drive. That's been nice awesome product, just easy to install. Connect up to 40 bars from one power feed. People asked for more power, more light output. So now we have the LBI Max, which you may have seen in the Nailed newsletter on occasion. So we've got that. So it's it kind of looks like a strip fixture, acts like a strip fixture, but it's connectable. It's plug and play. We've been calling it the Legos of lighting. We can't.
It is a little bit Lego-ish.
We can't put that in writing anywhere because we'll definitely get a cease and assist.
You can say it on a live stream though. The Lego. It is kind of like when you see the cut sheets. I know I clicked on it, and it does go together nicely. Let me ask you about the solar side.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that I think everyone's been talking about. I've sold a couple of those fixtures myself.
Sure.
Where are we going with that? Is that expanding? Is that going to become more popular, less popular?
Absolutely. No, appreciate you teeing that up. So solar, I'd say overall, it's still, kind of early where I think there's a lot of people still that don't know. It's not aware that that's a solution out there. And we call it a problem solver for the off-grid stuff because you don't have electricity somewhere and the cost to trench and run wire is quite expensive. And then we kind of come in with the solar. But it is growing. We've added a couple more products. We've started to offer 3000K as a standard color temperature. We've got our friends that are dark sky conscious.
I know a few of those guys.
So, so we're trying to address that a little bit. But later this year, we're going to be expanding our area light lineup to be a little bit what we call more like spec grade and a little bit more modular. So, one of the limitations currently we have is we're trying to do it all in one. And
I think you need to sell the solar panel separate from the fixture.
Sure.
I got a guy right now. I've been walking around the show. He has these railway storage things on the Canadian railways.
Okay.
And he needs 4 to 6 lights per each one. And someone goes in there for half an hour to put some, whatever, cable tie, whatever they are, the ties or whatever they fix the tracks with. And he needs 4 to 6 lights, but I can't find anyone that's got the separate solar panel and light.
Okay.
You got one of those?
We do.
Let's go and check it out right after this.
So we brought that product out, but it's you can do remote mounted solar panel.
Yes.
So for anywhere that doesn't get light, you can get light via our solar. It's called we call it a solar multifunction light.
I'm going to be writing a PO today.
All right. SMFL. But actually really cool. We've been having people use it as like a camp as well.
Sure.
So to do that, and even has a USB plug-in, so you can charge your cell phone.
There you go.
So really multi-function. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, definitely some big stuff coming from Solera later. We see that as a big growth opportunity for us at the company. So
and I think that's the thing people need to hear too is like Michael just brought up an example, and you guys have it. I talked about the hazardous stuff, and you have it, and that's something that's unique that not a lot of other lighting companies are doing. So if you ever have a unique situation,
give us a try.
Absolutely.
Reach out.
Yeah, I would say. What I would say is if you want to figure out how you can do business with light efficient design and you're a lighting distributor, contractor, or whatever, find your toughest step and see if they have a solution for it. Because you know what? I would say most likely they do. Probably.
Yeah. And we've got some pretty quick turnaround time. We got a facility in Middleton, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston, and we've got production and we're able to modify things and do some stuff custom. So it's not always happening overseas, that customization, which is great. But yeah, keep coming out with new problem solvers. So.
Yeah. Anything else you want to throw out there while you got the audience here?
Sure. If you guys haven't heard about it yet, but we got Breezy, another brand from Light Efficient Design.
That's right.
Diversifying a little bit. People ask, lighting guys, what are you guys doing in EV? I say, hey, we're an innovation company, right? And we're just kind of riding the wave, and EV is the next big thing in the industry that's going to be beneficial for everybody. Maybe not everybody's on board with EVs themselves, but
it doesn't matter whether you're on. It makes no difference. People drive electric cars, buddy.
It's coming, and there's not a lot of infrastructure out there.
That kind of argument, when I hear people talk like that, I just think you just want to have an argument about something.
Sure.
Like, what do you care what someone else drives their car?
Yeah. You should ask, what happened to the law career? It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Or too much, But just
why
trying to argue.
Why are you so passionate about what someone else is driving down the street, buddy?
Yeah.
So with that, I think it's great that they're in EV. I think there's a lot of room for lighting distributors in this industry to make a play in that space.
Absolutely. No, I think it's going to be beneficial for everybody for the next decade and then some. But won't get too ahead of ourselves.
Sure.
I think 10 years out's a good way to look at it. But yeah.
I think there's room, and I think that you should head on down to Light Efficient Design right now. If you're listening to this, when you're in New York, come on down. If not, check them out on the website, led-llc.com. What's your booth number before we go?
Booth number is
2739.
2739. 2739.
There you go. Thanks for listening, folks. Bye for now.
Thank you.